Alright. It's about that time to get started. Hello, welcome. Hello. Hi, Jay.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to this stream we're doing here. Jay, how you doing today?
Well, not bad. Just got done with work.
Alright. So, yeah. Okay. So, Jay, do you know something I've been doing for the past month or so? That I released the past month or
Um.
so?
Oh yeah. That you released. Yeah, I did. I did. You released a video going through the entire DC suite of media,
Yeah,
starting with the animated series. I know.
yeah. Last month I released a big old video about how to introduce some poor soul into DC media. And they kind of went through like the structure, like where to start, how to do so. I actually based it off of a document that I created for Christopher, um, which is what we're
Yeah.
looking at here. I transformed it into something because I felt like it was a topic that not a whole lot of people explore on YouTube, so I thought it'd be a fun thing to do. But when I made the document, there was plenty of changes I had to make it for a wider audience. So a lot of the stuff that I presented in the document is from a like more neutral perspective. I pretty much just explained what the project is and then maybe gave like general consensus of what people think about the project. So there you don't really get a sense about what I personally feel about these projects or whether or not I would recommend it. So that's what we're here today is just to explore what some of my thoughts are about some of these projects. But today we are starting with the DC animated shows, and we're gonna do stuff on different days. So today's the animated show stuff. Jay, have you watched animated shows? Do you watch animated shows?
Yeah, I do sometimes watch animated shows. I have not seen any of the DC animated shows that we are going to be talking about
Wonderful.
today.
I mean, maybe. I'm doing more than just a DCAU today.
Okay. Um, yeah, I think the only DC animated show that I can think of off the top of my head that I have seen is Harley Quinn.
Oh, well, we're not talking about that today.
I
Well,
kind of figured.
mm, man. So
Yeah, this is just never. I yeah,
why are you
I
here
didn't grow
today?
up with Batman the animated series or anything. I don't
I guess we lost you a
know.
little bit.
Nope. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm here today. You tell me.
All right. You're just here to listen to me talk, pretty much. I just want a little company.
Okay.
You're my company for today. you know, I'm gonna talk about stuff. You're gonna sit there and listen and be like, yeah, okay. I'm never gonna watch any of this stuff. So if you have
I
like,
mean, I have Batman the animated series on iTunes.
mm,
So I have access to it. It's just a question of sitting down to watch it at some point.
you own a lot of
And I am
stuff that
curious
you've
to
not
watch some of the
seen.
stuff. It's just, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'll occasionally see a good deal. Like I think I got it for like $10 or something for the whole series. So it's like I'll get around to it eventually, but it's not.
Hmm.
I got it because it was a good deal, and it's one that I would eventually like to see, not because I had immediate plans to watch it right then.
Sure. Well, yeah. Why don't we get started? I'm using my parents' guide slides that I made for the video. That's my one thing that I can say that I can put in that the video is my mark, is a parent's guide. Because I don't think anybody else would ever put a parent's guide when they talk about stuff, but I did it because I felt bad for parents. Anyway. Anyway, let's get started, because obviously we have Batman the Animated Series to start off today, which began the DCAU. What would be your thoughts about DCAU? I know you haven't seen much.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I don't know that I have any opinions about it at this point. Since I haven't interacted with it much. I know it is very influential, and I have seen or observed a lot of it through osmosis. But obviously that's very different from actually sitting down and watching it myself.
Okay. Yeah. I grew up with a lot of DCAU stuff. And of course we're starting off with Batman the Animated Series, which is a very iconic Batman show that I really love. It's a good show. Yeah, you've seen episodes. You've seen a couple episodes. At least I've shown you a thing or two.
Yeah, I've seen at least a few. Yeah, again, I haven't seen enough to form an opinion, but it is well animated and all that jazz.
All that jazz. Are you reading my notes? What?
I do not currently have the notes open, but
all right, it's fine. Yeah, no. How did I first get into BTAS? I think I was like aware of Batman through like the Justice League TV show. Maybe I had seen an episode or two. It was airing on TV, like reruns. But I think my first vivid memory of this is getting a haircut at like a children's haircut salon, and one of the things that they would do is like pull it. They had like a VHS tape of like different shows, and it's like, what do you want to watch? Like, here's Batman. So they put in an episode of BTAS. All I remember is the iconic intro. I don't remember what the episode was. My haircut wasn't long enough to have a full-on episode, so there's that. But yeah. Since then,
I have seen the intro. I can, yeah.
Of course, if anything, we see intros of this one at least, because like it's referenced in almost everything since then.
Yeah, Larry Boy, I think.
Maybe Larry Boy did one, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Larry Boy did one. But yeah, no, I love this show. I've since, I've watched clips and watched episodes on YouTube. Kevin Conroy, my favorite Batman. This is just an iconic performance. Mark Hamill's the Joker. I'm a big Joker fanatic, and so his performance as the Joker is one that I particularly love. Probably not in a healthy way, because I know that there's compilations of the Joker, Mark Hamill's Joker laughing, with just like a 40-minute video that I would sometimes watch just to watch and listen to his laugh, which may or may not have affected the way I laugh in my personal life. I know.
I mean, hey, yeah.
Yeah, no. Do you remember my high school days? It's just me casually slipping in my practice of a Joker laugh.
Oh yeah. that is when I think of you doing voices, it is the Joker voice that comes to mind first.
Yeah, doing the Joker laugh has like killed my own personal laugh, because whenever I laugh, it just has the stuff that I forced in it, so it's funny how that happens. But yeah, no, this show, great show. Moving on, I guess, to Batman: Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah, I don't have anything to.
I mean, there's more to say. It's just I can't think of it at this exact moment. Anyway, Batman: Mask of the Phantasm is a movie. one of if not the first, one of the first like Batman animated films or like DC animated films, because before so they were like mostly TV shows. This I think was like the first film that they did. Which, have you seen this one?
Yeah, this is one that I actually have seen.
Yeah,
I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but again, I don't have a relationship with the show, so I don't.
sure. Yeah, I mean this is one that a lot of like fans say it's like it's the best Batman movie ever, which is like okay, maybe in animation it's one of the best. It is a solid film generally. Um, I think before I was watching the show proper, I think my grandmother had sent me a copy of this DVD, and so I watched this more than I watched the show. It wasn't really until I was like, oh, in middle school when I started collecting full seasons of the show, and so I watched it afterwards there. But this was like kind of my introduction, and like a handful of episodes that happened to be in like a random DVD disc. You know how sometimes they release stuff like that, just
Yeah. Yeah.
random DVD sets. It's like here's like a random set of episodes for you to watch. Huh? But yeah, Phantasm. Similar
Yeah.
vein in BTAS. It's well animated. It's dark. Uh, Joker's in it. It's pretty cool. Um, I don't. We did like a watch through of Batman, like a Batman marathon in high school. I don't know if you were there for that. Where
I don't think I was, no.
we showed the '60s Batman, the Burton Batman, this, and I think the Dark Knight. I think Emily was there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know
I
if you
was
were
not
there.
because I hadn't seen this or the 60s one until more recently than that.
Okay. Okay. Moving on, we have another Batman film, Batman and Mr. Freeze, which is kind of like a chiller film. Um, yeah,
Nice pun.
yeah, it was actually made like after the show had ended, uh, because Warner Brothers needed a film, and so they made this one, which is kind of like in between seasons 3 and 4, telling a story with Mr. Freeze. I think it's alright. It's a decent story. It's not like the most amazing thing out there, but I think it was a decent little adventure. Just another like extended episode.
Okay.
Okay. Then moving on, we have Superman the Animated Series. This is one that I didn't actually watch until I was in university. Before then, I had only watched the Batman and Superman crossover episode, which was released into its own like quote unquote movie. I remember seeing advertisement for that, but no, another fun animated show with Superman, kind of like I said in my DC video, like this was kind of like setting up the gold standard for a lot of like classic Superman stuff, and it borrows from a lot of classic Superman stuff. A lot of my favorite versions of these characters, like Lex Luthor. This Lex Luthor is the business tycoon that I love the most. That has like a shady background, which we kind of got to see part of in the new Superman movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about that since that's a different live stream.
That's a different live stream. I don't know if you'll be part of that one. See how the schedule is. You haven't seen this show, of course.
No, no, I don't think I've seen anything else that we are talking about. I mean, maybe, but yeah,
Maybe.
I don't think so.
Yeah. No, just like fun, classic Superman antics. The next one is the fourth season of Batman the Animated Series. Although when it was coming out, it was technically a different cartoon called The New Batman Adventures. That's why if you watch Batman the Animated Series, you'll see like a different art style adjustment in between these two seasons. This one,
Okay.
yeah, this one's like a little darker than the original show, where they even sometimes like were allowed to do like a little bit of blood out of the mouth, out of the corner of the mouth to make moments serious. Um, I know that you and I have seen like an episode, the one with Harley Quinn with her origin for
Okay. Yeah.
a thing. Uh, I for yeah, this specific like final season has like some of the best of the show and also some of the worst of the show. So there's like a wide balance between the two. Like, oh, one week you'll have like peak, the next week you have garbage. I like it all equally, but you know, I'm a big fan of the Joker. I'm not. I don't particularly love like the Joker redesign in this show, but I don't care. Joker, Mark Hamill, I'm a fanatic. I can't help myself. It's all fun to me.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, just more cool Batman. I like the progression of Batman's character throughout the DCAU. Where here he's like a bit more invested or more determined. He's not as humanized. Empathetic, I guess.
Yeah.
Empathetic. That's the
Yeah.
word. Yeah. You could tell that like the toll of fighting crime has on him here, where it's like not as friendly with the others. All right, and that leads us to our next
Yeah.
show.
What year is this?
Oh, the show,
Just for context.
the year that the show came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, this season came out in 1997. Um,
Okay.
yeah, it aired alongside the Superman show. So, yeah,
Okay.
97 around. You had this going on while we had Batman and Robin. The movie was in production. Two very different tones.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the next show we had was Batman Beyond. I believe that was like 98, 99 when they made it. So, like, you know the story of how this show got made?
No, I don't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Warner Brothers, they went to the people who made Batman and Superman, and uh, they turned down the pitch for like a Justice League TV show at this time. And they said, you know what? Let's have a
Okay.
teenage Batman show. It's like, you guys, make a
Oh.
teenage Batman show. And that's where we got this. And to their credit, they pulled it off so well. Instead of just having Bruce Wayne just being this teenager, they were like, okay, let's set this thing like 30, 40 years, 50 years in the future. And have a different person be Batman. While we have our old Bruce Wayne mentor this young kid. It's actually pretty cool. So, they did a good job.
Okay.
That being said, it doesn't have my favorite set of rogues galleries of villains. They were creating a lot of their own and like using more obscure ones in this one, and so it doesn't really stand out as much besides Batman himself with Terry McGinnis. And it's a real shame that this show has been so underutilized. I know people who grew up with it like really want to have like another version of Batman Beyond. I know that we kind of missed our opportunity to have a Batman Beyond movie with like Michael Keaton and stuff like that. Oh my gosh, there
I
was.
mean, wait long enough, and Robert Pattinson will be old enough to do it.
Oh yeah, that'll be the third Batman movie. uh,
Oh yeah, yeah, because the second one's not coming out for a few years.
no, no, not at all.
Maybe we'll get Beyond the Spider Verse by then as well.
Maybe. There was concept art actually that Warner Brothers turned down that looked super good, and it's so. It
Okay.
was for an animated film that it
Oh
looked like it
yeah,
was kind of stylized after the Spider-Verse stuff, which really fits this version of Batman. So that's a shame that that never got through, but you know,
yeah.
it's kind of in line with Warner Brothers because they're not very good with animation.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah, because you were looking forward to Uzumaki, that horror thing. I think is it a horror thing?
Yep, that was yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be its own live stream to get into that.
Oh yeah. No, I feel that way towards all the different animated films in the past 15 years, where after each year you could slowly tell that they're having less and less budget for their stuff, to the point where it's like
Yeah.
pretty much like a PowerPoint slide of stuff. That's an exaggeration, but that's what it feels like a lot of the times. Dialogue scenes.
And now they're doing the new animation with like the Watchmen, or is that just for Watchmen?
That was just for Watchmen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought maybe they were adopting it more widely.
We'll see. We'll see. At the moment, we don't really have a ton of new animated stuff because I think James Gunn is putting a halt on that sort of stuff so that there's more
Okay.
unity between the projects. Because he said like,
Which yeah, because the new yeah,
everything's
the
gonna be
Creature
connected.
Commandos is part of the actual like mainline. Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't seen, but I will watch because it seems very interesting to me.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Batman Beyond. I didn't actually watch this show until university. I did a reaction series, which I'm currently re-uploading those reactions to YouTube. You can check that out. But yeah, I enjoyed the show for the most part. But moving on to Justice League. This is why a lot of people love the DCAUs, because of the Justice League and the whole characters being together. This was like my Batman growing up, because I watched Justice
Okay.
League before I got into DCAU, or sorry, before BTAS. This is where I experienced this Batman first. And yeah, I love these two seasons. Great stories. My favorite episode, of course, has the Joker in it, going up against the Justice League. Lex Luthor gets even better, where here he becomes like the classic comic book villain with the Legion of Doom and such.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one, but
Yeah, I mean, what can I say here that I haven't said before? It's a good show. Yeah. Moving on, we have Static Shock, which is, I think, another decent show. Uh, which Static is kind of like an underrated character. It's a show that didn't initially start in the DCAU, but eventually, there were crossovers, and after a couple seasons, they changed their art style to fit more. Um, I think Static is a pretty mature protagonist for being a teenager. Um,
okay.
yeah, that's what we like to see. The show itself, goes into very very a wide variety of topics because there's like gang violence, bullying, other other stuff that is a little heavy sometimes, but it handles it pretty well here. Racism, that's one. That's yeah. I assume you haven't seen it.
Oh no, no, I have not.
Hmm. Yeah, I would like to see more Static, the character, in the future. I know that Static was created because they couldn't get their rights to Black Lightning, and since they've now had the rights to
Okay.
Black Lightning again, we haven't seen Static in a long while. So one day,
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that makes sense if they created the character as a as an alternate.
yeah, I mean, the character was part of a different comic that they just decided to use as an alternate for the TV show. But yeah. Anyway, moving on, we have Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, which is an animated film where Joker returns.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. I can't say too much about this because I don't want to spoil anything about this. But there's a 10-minute section which is one of the best moments in the DCAU, even just like DC in general, which is a confrontation between Batman and the Joker. Just really beautifully animated and pretty dark, which, some of the best Batman stuff is dark. So, you
Yeah.
know, I are you aware of it by reputation?
I I have seen the poster, but I know nothing beyond that.
Okay. Okay. Well, if anything, I would recommend like those 10 minutes. Uh,
Okay.
which I think I saw those 10 minutes before I saw the actual film. But anyway, moving on. Do you know why the poster is like this with the green Joker?
I do not know.
I think it's supposed to be an homage to
Oh,
the man who
the yeah, the
laughs.
classic, yeah.
Yeah, poster. So
Well, that would make
that
sense.
yeah, that makes sense. Uh, the last for the DCAU section is Justice League Unlimited, which increases the roster by a ton. There's a ton of characters in here, a ton of fun stories that I love. Um,
Yeah, who are your favorite characters from this then that
yeah,
get introduced here?
so this show, introduced me to characters like Green Arrow, Wildcat, Black Canary. This might have been my introduction to Supergirl, Captain Atom, Doctor Fate. There's a lot of characters. This show became episodic, where Justice League was actually like a 2 episode storyline, the original show, and then once they went here, it became like singular episodes, so episodic, which we got to experience more characters. It was a lot of fun. Um, there's a really great episode with Batman Beyond where they have like an epilogue for that show here. It's a fantastic episode. Highly recommend. Um, there's one with the Flash that I enjoy where it just shows his connection to his villains. The Flash is just a really nice guy. A lot of fun stuff. Too many fun stuff. Again, I would recommend any of these shows. I recommend all of these shows. I recommend this show. I always recommend DCAU and DC, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, it seems to be, I mean, since they have so many shows and so many episodes to develop things versus, the movies can only get into so much,
Yeah.
especially in terms of like deeper characterization or digging deeper into the rogues gallery. Which, I mean, I don't know if you'll have me on for the to talk about James Gunn's Superman, but that is something that I like about his Superman, is that he is reaching a little bit further than has previously been done in other Superman movies.
So yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean that's what the animated shows have done, and like I didn't realize that Doctor Fate was in this Justice League Unlimited, but I of course saw him first in the Black Adam movie, where that's
Of
Pierce
course.
Brosnan who
Yeah.
plays him,
Pierce
and
Brosnan.
is a very fun performance where he is not giving like a super invested performance, but is fun nonetheless.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. What I love about like the animated shows and just like DC animation in general is that it gets to portray the characters more accurately to its comic power set. Because live action, you deal with the difficulties of filming and budget. Where here you don't quite have
yeah,
that as well. Plus, they get to use like the silly characters that are
yeah.
you wouldn't really see in live action because studios they don't really like silliness for some reason. And yeah, like you said, because there are so many episodes, we get to spend more time with these characters than just like a 2-hour film. So that's why I like watching TV shows, is because I spend more time with characters. And I do like character-driven stuff. Speaking of characters, our next show is The Batman. This was the 2004 animated show, which showcases a young Batman, starting out, who's only been Batman for like 2-3 years, and then each season you get to see his progression to a more seasoned Batman. Like each new season, he gets like a new partner, or he gets like a new relationship. So like he begins a relationship with like the cops, or he finally gets like a Robin or a Batgirl, or like there's the Justice League. It's a natural progression that if you didn't want to watch through the entirety of the DCAU, I would probably just recommend just watch this, because it's just 5 seasons versus
Oh, just 5 seasons.
just 5 seasons of 13 episodes each at 20 minutes. So that's relatively short. This
Yeah.
I guess this technically would be my Batman that I was watching, because I would watch episodes on YouTube. It was this and the Adam West Batman that I would watch the most before I had purchased BTAS and got to watch all of those. So those were my Batman that I enjoyed the most. I had a few action figures of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the one that I would have kind of known the most through cultural osmosis, just growing up, since this was the one that was airing at the time.
Yeah, this was the one that was airing while we were our youngsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this one had a film, The Batman vs. Dracula, which, just a random thing. Where it's like, what if Batman fought Dracula? And they did. I told you before that the people making this wanted to do a different film, but studio was like, nah, do this instead. And so they did this. And it was so successful that the studio was like, hey, why don't you do another Universal monster? And the creators were like, no. So that's where we got this. Not really related to the show continuity-wise. It's never mentioned in the show. The events in the show aren't really mentioned in this. It's just kind of this weird extra thing that's pretty fun and silly. So
Yeah, this is one that I am curious to see at some point, just because of the title.
yeah, it's Dracula. There's vampires and blood, actual blood. So, yeah, check that out. Moving on next, we have Batman the Brave and the Bold, which is a bit more on the campy side of the Batman cartoons. This one specifically was trying to be an homage to the golden and silver age of comic books, which were a bit more lighthearted and campy, which worked really well with this show because we got to see characters that weren't the most utilized. So we got to see characters like Blue Beetle, like Red Tornado, Kamandi, the last boy on Earth, Green Arrow, which Green Arrow was like in other stuff before, but here he was a supporting character sometimes. It's a lot of fun. Like, it's campy and wild. Each episode does something completely different and usually has like a different superhero that he's partnered with. That's why it's called the Brave and the Bold, because it's the thing where he teams up with other heroes. Yeah, this one came out in 2008 through like 2010, 2011. I watched it more on the later end of it when I started watching TV regularly. So, I think I showed you like an episode or two of this, or at least I tried to.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. This is one that I remember seeing ads for on TV when I was watching stuff on like Cartoon Network. So,
yeah, I have stickers for this show. It was like a school field trip to like a wallpaper factory, and they just gave us like a bunch of random stickers. So I like stickers for this show, some Clone Wars, and then Revenge of the Fallen. Which I would put on my notebooks. Hey, they were fun. They were fun.
yeah.
If I look into my desk right now, I might find some still here, but anyway, Brave and the Bold. Again, I recommend most of the animated stuff. I'm trying to think if there's like any episodes of characters that I like. There's one like iconic episode that everyone would recommend, which is Chill of the Night, where Batman confronts his parents' killer. It's pretty cool. That's an episode that introduced me to the character of the Spectre and Phantom Stranger, which are pretty. They don't have like a lot of stuff that they appear in, so obscure stuff. Now that I'm talking about it, I guess let's look back real quick and just talk about episodes that I appreciate. Going back to BTAS, any episode with the Joker is my favorite. There's an episode called Almost Got 'Em where the villains, they're playing poker and they're talking about their stories about almost catching Batman. There's a twist at the end that's pretty fun. Have you ever heard about that?
I don't know that I have. Maybe I have, but I'm not. It's not ringing any bells right now.
All right, yeah. So yeah, that's one to recommend there. I think most people say that, but yeah. Again, for me, it's any episode with the Joker. So, moving on to Superman the Animated Series episodes that I recommend. I would recommend the 3-part episode crossover with Batman the Animated Series, like World's Finest, I believe that's called. That's lots of fun.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Then for the season 4 BTAS, again, any episode with the Joker, but this one I would say Mad Love, which is the episode that has Harley Quinn's origin. So, pretty cool stuff. Batman Beyond. What would I recommend for this one? It's hard to say. I've only seen through the show twice, so I don't quite recall any that stands out on its own. There is a two-part episode with Superman in season 3 that's pretty nifty. Um, I'm sure something's gonna come to. Okay, okay. Actually, no. There's an episode in season 5 with. There's an episode in season 5 with Mr. Freeze, actually, who is wanting to be a normal person. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. That's there's spoilers. I don't want to get into that. Justice League. Yeah, Justice League. I mentioned there's a 2-part episode with the Joker. But I guess there's also another 2-part episode called Injustice for All, which has the Injustice League. So Lex Luthor creates the bad Justice League. That one's fun as well. Static Shock. Static Shock. There's some fun ones. There's a crossover with Batman. There's a crossover with Superman. For by itself, I would probably say maybe the bullying episode. Maybe. I don't recall the name. Justice League Unlimited, like I said, I would recommend the Batman Beyond epilogue, the Flash episode. Yeah. Stuff like that. And then the Batman. There's a lot of episodes of the Batman. Again, I say any episode with the Joker. My favorite episode is from the season 3 finale, which has the original character called Dave, which is a AI that think it's a real criminal. I showed you this one for...
Yeah.
It's a robot with a trench coat, which I love that concept. Robot in trench coats. It's a cool design concept. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Yeah. Moving on, we have Teen Titans. Have you seen Teen Titans or aware?
I have I have not. I am familiar with Reputation, but
yeah. Teen Titans is a group of like teenage superheroes in their own super team with Robin, Beast Boy, Raven, Starfire, and Cyborg. This is what most people were introduced to Teen Titans before the past decade with Teen Titans Go, which is a whole other thing. But no, this season was a lot of fun. This show was a lot of fun because each season kind of gave you a character arc for each of the characters, except for one, unfortunately. It also, I believe, was the first animated interpretation of Deathstroke, or as he was called in this show, Slade, voiced by Ron Perlman.
So, I mean, that's his first name, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he was voiced by Ron Perlman. That was my introduction to the character, and he was so cool as a villain. It is sometimes wacky. There's 2 different versions of the intro, because if you're gonna get like a random wacky one, they have like a Japanese intro with the Japanese lyrics. But if you're getting to like the main...
Which I have actually seen that one.
Yeah. If you have like the main story, then you have like English intro. So that kind of tells you what's quote-unquote filler and what's not. Which they're all fun. There's some really silly ones sometimes, but it's all fun. It does this dynamic the best. I think it's the best version of this team, because the other ones I've tried haven't quite reached this point, this level of iconography. In terms of an episode,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like a standalone that stands out to me. I have to like rewatch it to remember, but I remember there's again, I don't want to spoil anything major, but really the ends of seasons where we get to the end of like the story arcs, those are pretty epic. I'm sure there's like an episode in between the seasons that I enjoy, but it doesn't come to my mind at the moment. So, anyway, moving on. That show lasted 5 seasons, and then it ended. It ended it in a really weird way, because the final episode was just odd, and felt like there was supposed to be another season, but there was never another season planned, contrary to some sources. Anyway, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But after that, we had this movie, Trouble in Tokyo, which is just like a simple extended episode adventure where they're in Tokyo, having their antics, facing off against this mysterious villain. The film's alright. There's really only one reason I would recommend it. It's because like there's some closure to some things.
Okay.
How's the stream looking?
Oh, I don't have the stream open since my internet was going in and out.
Okay. Just asking.
Here, I can pull that up.
YouTube's telling me it's being weird.
Looks fine to me.
Okay. Okay. Could you stall for a second? I need to use the restroom.
Sure, yeah. I don't really know what to say since I haven't seen any of these shows. Yeah, this is. I never really got into the animated DC stuff outside of. I really like the Harley Quinn show, which John probably doesn't want me to talk about because I don't know that he likes that show. I haven't seen the more recent seasons, but I did enjoy the first couple seasons. Yeah, fun interpretations of those characters, sort of irreverent style, irreverent humor. Um, I think I don't know. I might have seen more Marvel animated shows because I've seen X-Men Evolution. I watched that a lot as a kid. I've seen like the Avengers one from like 2012, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, which is excellent. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm working my way through it slowly, and it is like each episode is so fulfilling of a story. Um, yeah, never really got into the DC animated stuff.
What show is this?
Oh, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
Okay. That's Marvel.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Since I haven't seen much of the DC, and I needed something to talk about.
Sure. I remembered something about Teen Titans, actually, on that break, so good for me.
Okay.
Episodes that I would recommend are any Raven-centered episode. Raven is, to me, the most interesting character in the show. She's the most secretive, has the dark, mysterious past. She hides her emotions, has so much unseen trauma, and all that fun stuff. So, yeah. I've always found her episodes to be the most entertaining and interesting. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that didn't quite translate to this film because this film was more about Robin and Starfire and I think Beast Boy as well. But anyway, moving on to the next show is Young Justice, which is a show that I think it's probably the first show here that I started watching weekly since it first started. So, I was introduced to it from the very beginning. I got to follow these characters each week as it aired. I personally love that first season. That first season is one of the best seasons of television to me, because it's like the most tightly written thing. And then the show starts making changes afterwards, where they start making weird decisions, which I don't know if you have heard any of those decisions.
No, I have heard very little about
Yeah.
this show.
The one big thing, which would be a spoiler, but kind of, do I want to say it?
Do you?
Do I? I mean, it's my stream. I can do what I want. But yeah, essentially, there's a huge time skip in between season 1 and 2 of 5 years. And now we're suddenly following different characters, which didn't set well with a lot of people when it aired. And like they are interesting characters, but like you grew so much in this first season with these characters, and now you're suddenly following different characters, and then the progression of these characters happens off screen. It's like, what happened? What are we doing? So I don't love the second season as much as the first. I still think it's decent and solid, pretty good. But that first season, to me, it's peak. My favorite episode is one that follows Kid Flash, where he has to run and to deliver a heart for a heart transplant. I showed you this one for a podcast we did a while ago. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I vaguely, I mean, I remember the episode, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the show is about, like, the sidekicks of superheroes. It's kind of like Teen Titans, but it's, like, using, like, a different set of characters to form, quote-unquote, different set of characters. So this one introduced me to, like, Kid Flash and Superboy and Miss Martian. I particularly love that it's a lived-in DC world that has like a long history, and like no villain or character is new. They're like established, and so it's pretty fun to them to randomly go against a character. It's like, it's so and so, and there's a long history of things. I like that they try at least to implement all sides to DC. Whether or not they do it successfully or not, they did a good job at the start. The show ended up being canceled after 2 seasons. I think the official statement or something was because of like toy sales not being where they wanted it to be. Which was a shame because the way,
of course,
because the way the second season ended was like pretty, kind of like a cliffhanger, and so after that, there were several years before the show eventually returned on the DC Universe streaming service that no longer exists.
Yeah.
That was an exciting announcement. I was like really wanting the show to come back. And then I reacted to that 3rd season, which the reactions don't exist anymore. But yeah, moving on to seasons 3 and 4. They did a thing that I don't love, in that they decided to age the show up. So, before the show was like at a TV PG, for the streaming service they moved it to a TV 14, and that completely ruined the writing for me because I don't know. There's something about TV censorship that forces cartoon writers to be very creative and how they handle things.
Yeah.
That when they aren't having to deal with that censorship, it's just, I don't know, it's an inferior product to me. Also, this is at the point of DC where their budget was no longer as high to do as high quality animation as they used to, so there were whole episodes that were just PowerPoint presentations, and that's not exaggeration. Like, very little animations and just narration were whole episodes sometimes, which ruined the experience for me. So yeah, this got to be a little more violent. Characters could do more mature thing, and honestly, I didn't care for any of that. So, also, towards the later seasons, they kind of forgot how to write episodes. So you'll have 4-part episodes that don't feel like episodes. It just feels like you're watching part 1 of like a film thing, and it didn't feel like you're watching a fully complete product each episode. So yeah. I haven't finished the final season because it went on hiatus once I caught up with it, and then I don't know, I just fell behind. So I do want to finish it eventually, but I might want to do a rewatch before I do that. So yeah, that's how it is. It's like that a lot of times where a canceled show comes back, but then they decide to like age the show up for some reason.
Yeah.
They did the same thing with Samurai Jack, which, you know, Samurai Jack is cool, but I thought it was cool because with what they got away with being under their TV PG. But with it being like TV 14 and they got the show Blood and all, I was like, oh, I mean, that's cool too visually, but it's not the same. It's not the aesthetic that we fell in love with in the first place, so. What you gonna do?
Yeah. Indeed. What you gonna do?
Yeah. Moving on, we have Green Lantern, the animated series. This was made. I think that, yeah, this was made to like synergize with Ryan Reynolds' film, but again, I think with Toy Cells, the show got canceled after 1 season. But it was a pretty good show. You know, we got to see Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, go on adventures in space. And they introduced us to like the concept of like the Red Lantern or the Blue Lantern. If the show went on, it would have like given us like the Yellow Lanterns and all that. But the 1 season that we got was pretty good. It's a shame that it got canceled. There was like a bunch of side characters that they were hoping to do stuff with, which, you know, every chance that these creators get, they'll sometimes slip in references into other different projects to the show. So yeah, I don't know if there's like a single episode I would recommend. Maybe there's in Green Lantern lore, there is this one Green Lantern who is a giant planet. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. That entire planet, that's a Green Lantern. And so there's one episode where they go onto this planet, and it's like, there's a Green Lantern on this planet somewhere, and then it's like, oh wait, the planet's the Green Lantern. Oh. And so that's pretty fun. Yep. If Marvel has Ego, the living planet, then DC has Mogo, the Green Lantern planet.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? I mean, It's pretty fun. Next up is Legion of Superheroes, which is... I've not seen it, so I can't really comment on what the show is good or not. I've seen, like, an episode in Spanish when I was really young. What I know is that Superman travels to the future, to the Legion of Superheroes, and they do stuff. The Legion is... We get to see the Legion and other stuff, but this was their own show. I own it on Blu-ray because I got it for Christmas. So, at some point, I'll watch it. But I haven't seen it, so I can't comment.
I have not even heard of this one.
Have you heard of the Legion, though? These characters?
No, not that I can think of. I mean, maybe at some point I heard of them, but
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, at some point, we'll probably get them in a live-action thing. Who knows? Moving on, we have Beware the Batman, which this replaced Brave and the Bold, and this returned Batman to his more darker roots, and this is a CG show. I wasn't a big fan of it when it came out. I did end up doing a reaction video series to this, so you can find those reactions somewhere. Yeah, this is like Batman, again, starting out as a loner in like his first couple years, and he's like learning to trust people and do stuff. This one, the one thing that this show does that the other shows don't do is that this one has more obscure villains. So like the C-list villains that are, I guess, maybe are newer or they don't quite have. But the villains are kind of like different variant copies of like your classic villains. So you have like a Joker type, you have like a Catwoman type.
Mm-hmm.
This did set up like villains like Deathstroke and Two-Face. Again, it was canceled after one season. I assumed the toy sales. It was also just, it wasn't, the release of this was like so terrible. Like for some reason Warner Brothers just didn't release it properly, because you had like episodes releasing at weird times and then out of order and you know, stuff like that. Yeah, the animation, I don't love the animation. I don't think Batman particularly looks good in the 3D style that they went with. For some reason, the design they chose just made it look goofy to see. But the action's pretty good. Yeah, CG, they do good action. Plus, we have Katana. Do the quote, Jay. Do the quote.
She's got Batman's back, I assume.
Yeah.
She could cut all of you in half with one sword stroke just like mowing the lawn.
Yep. Yeah.
I think that's most of the quote. That's the parts that
I wouldn't recommend being killed by her.
I would not recommend being killed by her. Oh yeah, because her sword traps the souls of its victims. I should forget.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. For some reason, Katana was Batman's sidekick, quote-unquote sidekick in this one. It's a different thing. If you're looking for a different Batman thing, I would recommend 3 other Batmans before watching this one, but it's another Batman if you wanted one.
Put that on the box.
Yeah.
It's another Batman if you wanted one.
Yes. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. I don't have an episode on the top of my head that I would recommend. I think most episodes with character anarchy are pretty good, but
okay.
Yeah, it's another one. Then we had Justice League Action, which was a very short-lived Justice League show that lasted for like one season. Each episode was about 10 minutes. The point was just to have some action with different Justice League members. It was fun, a little comedic. More stuff with that with Justice League with his art style. There's
Okay.
there's like a short episode that's not quite an episode, but like a YouTube short that they released where they had Mark Hamill as the Joker kidnap actual Mark Hamill while also having the villain the Trickster, which Mark Hamill played in the 90s in the Flash TV show. And so the episode is just a bunch of Mark Hamills talking to himself, doing like meta jokes about Mark Hamill being a voice actor and stuff like that. Yeah, it's 5 minutes. That's what I would recommend. It's the best thing to come out of this show. I mean, there's even more obscure heroes and obscure villains. Pretty fun. Would I recommend it? Sure. Again, they're 10 minutes. You can find it on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
It showed up and then disappeared within a couple years. Yeah.
Huh.
It's just didn't really last that long. I'm not sure why. Not sure why. It was okay.
Toy sales?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. And then I think the last thing we're going to talk about today is DC Superhero Girls, which was an animated show that was created by Lauren Faust, who people may or may not know also created My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. And so these two shows share very similar things. Characters share similar personalities. She brings in some of the writers that she had worked in on ponies into this, and so watching this was like, it's like experience early ponies again. And so it was like a lot of fun. This one focuses on the superhero girls. It's a bit more of a comedic style where all these characters are in high school. All the boy characters are incompetent because we have to make these girl heroes be cool. And it does that. There's some like character changes that I don't quite love, in the sense that they're done for like team dynamics than for making the character proper. So the character of Bumblebee here, she got turned into Fluttershy, so made her like a shy character because we needed a shy character that's dynamic instead of what her character would normally be. But other than that, this was fun. It lasted 2 seasons. Lauren left after the first season, so stuff happened there. I don't know. That happens a lot sometimes. And then the show got canceled because I don't think a lot of people were really aware of it or really watched it, so it just ended. But Teen Titans Go is a show that's still going to this day. You know? It outlived...
Oh, I didn't realize it's still running.
It's still running! They just... yeah, it's still running. They're like doing like 9th or 10th season or something.
Toy sales must be good.
They don't... I don't even know if they sell toys. But like Cartoon Network, that's all they seem to like, is like doing more Teen Titans Go, which angers the original Teen Titan fans, of course. I guess let me go down the Teen Titans Go then. Let that be the last thing you talk about or something. Teen Titans Go, like chibi version, comedic version of the original series, brings back the original cast. It is stupid comedy. Sometimes can be very good and very fun. That's like a really rare case, though. It's mostly dumb comedy. For some reason, it still exists after like hundreds of episodes. But hey, if it's what people watching Cartoon Network still, then hey, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't rebooted it or something. Because it's been around for a while.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, like, reboots, we've had a live action Teen Titans, which we'll talk about on another day.
Yes.
At least I will. I'm not sure if you'll be there. Um,
Not gonna invite me back
it's
after this episode.
it's about the scheduling, Jay. Okay, I know that some days you can't show
Scheduling.
up. Yeah, so yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Uh, I'll be back on Wednesday to talk about animated films. So if Jay can join me, then he will be there. Maybe we'll not. We'll see. But yeah, that's all for
Yeah,
today.
we'll have to see.
Yeah. So thanks for joining. Bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Oh.